deceivers, just assume that they're deceived and do your best to win people over, win friends for God. By so doing, you'll be winning friends for yourself, storing treasures in heaven. This is it, man. And you will be. It says that not anybody that gives one of these little ones that loves me even a drink of cold water will not lose his reward. So you're going to get your reward. Anybody that's working for God and being his true and loyal friend and just saying, I know, it all makes sense. It all makes sense when you cut through the crap and you see, oh my God, this thick veil of darkness that has ensconced humanity for these thousands of years. This crap's been going on, and how it's easy to fall into that trap of becoming a money lover, but saying, no, I'm not a money lover. I just use it as a tool to facilitate exchange and all that stuff, and it's a measure of prosperity and status, and I like financial freedom, and I like financial security, and I like all that, but I don't love money, no. But then you dig in a little further. Would you be okay if everybody was born with a silver spoon in their mouth? Then you're going to have a real discussion, and we're going to have to start defining terms. We're going to have to talk about government and how you define that. We're going to talk about prosperity, how you define it. We're going to talk about the different forms of freedom and how you would define absolute freedom. Can you be free if you're still born beholden to the money masters of misery, for example? So you understand that you could take a conversation into depth, and the people that run away from that conversation, well, that they're struggling with conscience. You could feel the pull that they don't want to come out of confusion. There's false pride involved. They've got the consensus of all their peers, at least perception is reality. They believe that. And so that's it, that they've got defenses up, and they're not going to hear any logic or reason. And that's very sad. But we've got an obligation, a responsibility, a duty to one another as brothers and sisters to care, to empathize, to the point of death if we need to. That's how much we've got to care about one another. That we've got to lay our lives down if necessary for our fellow human being. That's it. So it's critical that we get this thing. Yeah, these MSM, as if the MSM goes into character in concert on cue, right? I wonder if these people know what the New World Order cabal, because that's who, these grand puppeteers, the money masters of misery. I mean, they're all part and parcel of the same bunch, the same gaggle of ruthless, merciless, genocidal thugs that will stop at nothing. Lying, cheating, deceiving is nothing. That's like falling off a log to these people. Okay, they're genocidal freaks. I mean, does it get more evil than that? Okay, but yet they're trying to convince everybody they're the good guys. They're to save the planet, you see. The greater good, not of humanity, but of the planet. So in the name of saving the planet, they're going to justify, rationalize killing over 90% of the population, right? So these are the good guys. That's what they want us to understand. Bill Gates and all these. You understand, don't you? We've got to get the carbon footprint down to save the earth. If we don't save the earth, we're all going to die anyhow, and it might be indiscriminate. So it'll be across the board, and then I don't get to, pick and choose the times. I've got to step up to the plate, be the god of this world, act as your conscience. I've got to be the leader, right? I've got to be the authority. So I believe in weather change, like Al Gore types, very elitist, very hypocritical people. And they know they are. And I'd like to put them on a polygraph. The Bill Gates of the world, the Al Gores, the Slick Willies out there, okay, all these, the George Soros types, and all the mainstream media people out there. I want to put them all on a polygraph machine. Okay, and if they're lying, I don't know. They make me, believe me, you think I don't want to slap these people upside the face? Does anybody think just because I'm a pacifist and I believe in love and compassion and mercy and respect and all this, you think that I'm not a man, that I don't have that militaristic, combative nature too? I do, just like every other man out there. Yes, I want to slap them. No, I'd like to knock their teeth out. No, I'd like them to go to jail. No, you see, understand? I'd like to do what Moses did to the slave driver that was beating his slave, okay? Let's just put it that way. So I have to search my own heart and mind. I have to justify my thinking before God. And I feel a tug within my own soul. And this is the point God brings us to, all of us to. Okay? It's the cross we have to bear. We've got to care about these mainstream media people. We've got to care to the point of death. We've got to reach out to these deceivers or people that we perceive to be deceivers. And like I said, perception is reality. But I don't think these people know. I really don't. I don't think they know what's coming if the New World Order should get its way. You know, there's an epidemic going on of this pancreatic cancer. And I did a little research on this. Stay away from the artificial sweeteners, this high fructose corn syrup. Don't use it, is my advice. Okay, I've owned health food stores with my parents since I was 12 years old. Okay, they started the first health food store in the Santa Cruz Mountains in Felton. I've been reading books the whole time. I went to college. I took health science in college. I've been very interested. Doesn't mean I listen to my own advice all the time. But I can tell you this much. From my own personal experience, I had a bad experience. I almost died, I think, eating that high fructose corn syrup. Every other person's got some type of diabetes, type 1, type 2, whatever. Okay? And pancreatic cancer, once you get that, you're going to be dead within a couple of months. Okay? Fast acting. They might be trying to kill us. This is another way they're committing genocide on us. Don't use high fructose corn syrup. It's in all the soda pop now. Unless you specifically buy soda pop made in Mexico, in which it's still using real sugar. I'm not saying sugar is good either. Okay, all I'm saying is just beware. We had a dear family friend that passed several years ago, and this man was fanatical about it, nutrition and health. Okay, he's in his early 70s. Okay, maybe just 70, I don't know, 69, I forget. But he would not eat any fats, never ate eggs, wouldn't touch butter, okay? Thin as a rail, but ate very healthy. What he sounded like, just, a lot of stuff. But I talked to him. I said, Jim, you know what, man, I really believe this. You got to listen to this guy, Joel Wallach. And he just, went in one ear and out the other, okay? Because he just thought he knew so much more. He talked about the China diet and all this. And, but anyhow, he contracted this pancreatic cancer out of nowhere, and he's dead now. So the eggs, according to Dr. Joel Wallach, he thinks a man could eat a dozen eggs a day if he wants to. And I tend to believe it. I'm not into the sweetbreads or the red meat he talks about, especially raw, rare. You got to watch out for salmonella, and there's some lethal varieties of salmonella. But for me, it's a conscience thing. I don't want to make anybody work in a slaughterhouse, okay? But as far as eating it, chicken tastes great. I still miss the taste of beef, believe me. I don't hold it against anybody. I don't believe God holds it against any. As long as you're willing to do the dirty work in a slaughterhouse, because that's the only way I think we ought to search our conscience. But his health, I think you do have to watch out for the health. They say John Wayne, it's commonly rumored that he had over 40 pounds, I think, of red meat stuck in his colon at death. But if you study other stuff, they'll say, oh no, the red meat passes about the same as any. It's not responsible for any of these polyps or anything or what's going on in your guts. But I contest it does. I strongly contend that it does. Okay, well, after researching high fructose corn syrup, what's going on with people's guts now, this gut leakage, they call it leaky gut syndrome and all this, yes, I think that's related to these sweeteners that our bodies can't handle. It's passing through. The kidneys don't like it. Your pancreas doesn't like it. Your body doesn't like it. And so it's dumping it in your guts, and your guts don't like it, and it's doing bad things and causing problems for all of us. So yes, I think they're trying to kill us. So once you got the leaky gut, if you get anything further like pancreatic cancer or something, it's just going to exacerbate things wildly, and you're going to be dead. That's my own analysis of this after doing deep research. So I say stay away from all the artificial sweeteners. That aspartame is even worse. Listen to the neurosurgeon, what's his name? Oh boy, I'm terrible with names, but the famed neurosurgeon that talks about this aspartame and how it creates wood alcohol in the body. But do your own research and find out that they're trying to kill us. Okay. They're trying to kill us 6 ways to Sunday. And whatever creative, inventive ways they can, they will. And they're not going to tell you how they're doing it. They're not going to talk about the possibility of tainted vaccines like my son I talked about, or the possibility of uh, poisonous food. They're not going to talk about the fact that fluoride comes in these bags that show poison, a skull and bones on it, and they're dumping it in the municipal water supply. You're just supposed to believe the government loves you and they would never do anything to hurt you, right? And so don't be skeptical. Just, swallow everything the government tells you, hook, line, and sinker. It's all gospel truth. And the government, how dare you think they would ever hurt you? How dare you think that there's people within the government with an agenda that are working with these, these money masters of misery, the grand puppeteers, those that have the copyright to the money. Okay, how dare you think that there's even a small group, cadre of these people working in the government that would do 9/11? How dare you, right? Isn't that what they would like you to believe? That don't listen to me, just listen to them? Okay, well, I'm here to tell you they're not trustworthy, and it's okay to be skeptical. And there's just cynicism. And these people warrant just cynicism, to doubt their motivation and to dig into it and say, are you willing to go on a polygraph to defend your view? Because I'm going to ask you some hard questions here, okay? And there's got to be some penalty, okay? You can't just go on it and be proven a liar and go on your merry way. There's got to be a price to pay, okay? So I take away all your assets, okay? That's it. You lose your job, I take away all your assets, and then you if you're lying to me, okay? How many of them would back out of that polygraph, okay? Plenty of them, plenty of them. So yes, it's okay, good to be skeptical, and good to display just cynicism, okay? You call a tree by its fruit, right? You don't call an apple tree an orange tree, but that's what they would like you to do. You say it, and if the fruit is all rotten on the tree, by evidence, then you say it. You say it how it is. You be true to yourself. You say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and let the chips fall where they may. And if they condemn people, that's their problem. It's not you. You didn't condemn them. They condemn themselves by default of being truth tellers. If you're not a truth teller, you're a liar. And we all tell small lies, like it's written in Scripture, that to let all men be called liars, okay? But God can't lie. Yes, we have all lied, and we might all lie about little things that are of no import. But it's on those big issues, like deceiving humanity at large. That's the kind of stuff God wants to know. But those that would seek to change history, like the Catholic Church wielding its power by changing dates and times. You understand? A lot of people don't know this little fact, but it was through the power of the Catholic Church that that a day starts at midnight. Most people don't know that. That's when I say my daughter, I have one daughter, my oldest daughter, Jennifer. She was born 5 days to the day my mother died. My mother died on the morning of November 9th, 1979 in Santa Cruz, California. A heart attack she had. Her first heart attack was complicated with thrombosis of some sort. So it was a massive heart attack that took her life that morning at 47 years old. And 5 years later, on the evening of November 10th of November 9th. Okay. I'm sorry. My mother died November 10th. Okay, November 10th, 1979. The morning of November 10th, 1979. Bright, beautiful morning in Santa Cruz. I was with a girlfriend. We were in Malibu at the time, staying with some friends of hers down there. My dad gave me the call. Your mother made the transition. It was a morning of November 10th, 1979. Beautiful day. So I drove up for the services. We came back. We were on our way to Florida. Long story short, we were going to live down in the Florida Keys, which we ended up doing. So my daughter was born on the evening of November 9th. About 9:30 in the evening, November 9th, 1984. 5 years to the day. If we were going by the way we told time for ages, until the Catholic Church, wielding its illegitimate authority, decided that no, a day shouldn't start at sundown and another one end, which is what the Jews observe to this day, and the Seventh-day Adventists understand to this day. Most of the world goes about their way just thinking, oh, well, I never wondered that, I don't know why a day starts. It makes sense to me. 24-hour day, 12 hours, and all this. Makes sense. They don't know that, though. It's a historical fact. So when I say what I said about 5 years to the day, you could say, oh, well, that's not by today's standards. It's a day off. Yes, but today's standards are illegitimate by God's standards. You understand? So I'm just putting out. It's just a curiosity of mine. I'm not saying my daughter is my mom reincarnate. Okay, I'm just saying it's a curiosity. I'm just saying God works in mysterious ways, and there's a lot of things that if we're on the right path, He will reveal to you that are just wonderful. It's like there's supernatural things in this world. Angels and all this stuff are real. He